system you shared with us, Robert, looks really interesting.
I think it's really cool.
I'd be interested in like watching someone play through it just so I could sort of see how it applies.
I have the other City of Mist game that they did. I don't have the updated version of it, but I do have the old version.
I
But
think
yeah,
it
I
would be
did
really
back
cool.
that game. Yeah.
I've just come to realize that Kickstarter is basically, or GoFundMe is like the Toys R Us for adults who want to spend their money on things.
Yeah. I have a few too many Kickstarters on my profile. I've probably backed 40.
I love this super amazing like street vendor soup thing you shared, Ethan, that also sort of looks like it was built into something that used to be a weapon.
It's a tactical nuke drop.
Yeah, tactical nuke drop, but as a tactical soup drop instead.
All right. So
Tactical noodle drop. Apologies. All right. Did you say we're live now?
Yes.
Okay. Oh, there it is. Okay, it wasn't showing up on Twitch, so
I think I put my drinks on half full. Hold on a second. Guess you guys recap for yourselves what you did last time and what you're trying to do this time. I'll be RB.
Played paper, rock, scissors.
We did. We played paper, rock. That should be the title for the show. Rock, paper, scissors. No. Rock, paper, scissors radio. That should be the name.
There you go.
All right.
Title acquired.
I don't know. I really liked Radio Chatter, but Rock, Paper, Scissors Radio is also good. So last time on Stars Without Number, we finally tracked down the radio man who was sus as all get out.
So
sus, like the sussest I have ever experienced with Ben, and that's saying something because I live with him. And then let's see what else. So we finally got past the fact that he's doing radios and got into the back room after we almost like gunned down a granny at the door. So that was fun.
Stabbed. Almost stabbed.
Stabbed. Sorry, not gunned down. Stabbed. A granny at the door. Then we finally were able to get him to trust us when we dropped Boris's name. And we got into the back room after a game of rock, paper, scissors while waiting for him to let us in. And then while we were back there, Nero and Saoirse had an argument that led to a really good hug out. And yeah, while Brother Nick helped our radio contact dude to fix something for someone. And Cade, Robert, what did Cade do during that session? Because I know he did something, but I was also typing furiously in the sidebar for the side RP.
Yeah, he dealt with an incoming patrol from the Tabukan occupying force and
that's right.
had a small fight between the surveillance drone and one of the combat tanks.
Yeah.
It was close, but we escaped.
Man. So not a lot happened last session, but a lot happened last session. Somehow, weirdly, at the same time. We packed a lot in.
Yeah, typical.
Oh, man. Oh, no. I think Ben just got back to his computer.
All right.
I was going to ask him to turn the lights on for me, by the way. That's the only reason I said, oh, no. So I'm like, I can't ask him to do me a favor I'm perfectly capable of doing myself anymore. Darn it. Every wife's worst nightmare. All right, 1 second.
Alrighty. Got my drinks. Still crackers are out of the way. I'm ready to go.
All right.
Let's see.
Oh man. Okay, sorry, I'm back. Does anybody ever randomly get a song stuck in their head that they're just like totally like befuddled as to where it came from? Like you're like, I didn't hear
Yes.
anyone sing that. I got an anime
Yes.
theme song stuck in my head. And I'm just like, I haven't watched that anime in years. Like, I do not know why that got in my head. Oh man. Maybe I saw the title on my bookshelf from the manga when I was turning on the lamp over there. I'm gonna go with that. Just to make myself sound less crazy, but
Could be. Seems plausible.
do you want to know what one it was?
No, because then you're gonna get it stuck in our heads.
That's true.
True.
Dex definitely doesn't want to know because all I did was reference this song that was stuck in my head and it was stuck in his head. So
To be fair, I probably wouldn't know the song once you reference it, but I'm looking out for everyone else right now.
All right, good. At the end of the session, I'm gonna link it in our Discord.
Okay.
Danielle, I think Adam has keys in his hands.
Keys in his hands?
Yeah, he's on our bed with keys
What?
in his hands, or something in his hands.
Oh, that's much better than what I thought you said.
Well, now I'm curious what you thought he said.
I thought you said that Adam had bees in his hand.
That would be a problem.
The bees.
Yeah. It's not the bee.
Are the kids sick
Well,
too?
Adam has been, although he had it Saturday with no fever, and then he was totally fine Sunday, except that he had a mild fever. And then early this morning, apparently he threw up once. I
Oh.
vaguely remember it. Danielle was dealing with him at that point,
Mm-hmm.
but
Poor little guy.
yeah, Hannah has dodged all symptoms so far.
Lucky her.
Yeah, knock on wood.
Okay, I'm back.
Yeah,
with my
sometimes
key.
that's lucky, sometimes that just means you get it later.
Mhm. Yeah, it's at least nice not to all have it at once.
Oh my dear.
Yes.
I don't even want to think about that.
So, you guys decide you are heading straight for the rendezvous with the resistance.
Obviously.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Alrighty then. So, part of the city that they indicated for you to meet up at is kind of in the inner circle. There's sort of like a downtown area that is laid out a little bit more in a circular fashion. And it's an address right on the edge of that looks like some sort of warehousing situation next to a water treatment plant. And you guys are able to make it over there without much delay. So you're still early afternoon. And how are you guys approaching this?
Well.
How are we going over there, guys? Great question.
So.
You're already there.
I can I guess I can give you some hints as to what I'm getting at. Are you gonna just make a beeline? Are you doing a circuitous route?
Do we have any idea what that part of the city is like? Or did our group pass through it in any of the recon?
Sorry, what about passing through with the recon?
With the earlier recon that was done, did the group pass through there?
No.
Oh, okay, so this is an unknown part of the city to us. Yeah, I guess start by asking Eric what the Tabukan presence is like over there, or how that part of the city's faring.
I think Eric is coming with us, or do you mean before we go there?
Yeah, before we go.
Oh, okay.
He was actually not planning on going with you.
Right.
He would tell you that that part of the city hasn't seen a lot of attention from Tabukan forces yet. Whenever their patrols have ventured that way, they've usually ended up clashing. And it's actually, according to Eric, the reason why they asked you to meet up over there.
Because they end up clashing?
Because the Tabukans haven't been pushing very hard over in that part of the city. They've been working to basically establish control in other parts and sort of surround the center of the city.
Oh, okay.
So they still or have kind of carved out this section of the.
Yeah, the patrols don't typically venture that far.
Yeah, I think we still don't want to just walk out in the open.
Where was our clothing store we'd been camping in relation to this? That seemed like it was in a safe-ish corridor of the city.
Yeah, it's more or less on your way.
You just kind of use that as a safer corridor and circle around till we can get in.
Okay.
I think the the distilled answer, Ben, is that we try to sneak there without being seen.
Yeah.
Gotcha. You're not just gonna. You don't want to draw a straight line from Eric's hideout to the resistance meetup either.
No.
Sounds like. And you're
Yeah, that doesn't
avoiding
sound like us at all.
you're avoiding the more potentially dangerous places where you might run in with Tabukan patrols or be seen by them. All right. Yeah, so you don't have any trouble plotting a course that keeps you out of the worst of it and kind of skirting pretty close to the river, actually. All right, so you arrive, and if you check from a distance, you'll actually notice, catch sight of what looks like two lookouts probably on the roof of the warehouse building.
Tabukan lookouts, or like are they
No,
in
they
Tabukan
no,
military uniform? Or
no,
no?
they look like probable resistance fighters. They're definitely not wearing any Tabukan colors.
Okay. Hmm. Well, do we want to? We're invited to meet up with them, right? So
Yes.
I think it's probably fine to let them see us. But what are y'all's thoughts?
Nero wants to try and sneak up on them. See
Of course she
see
does.
how good their defenses are.
Got you.
That is a terrible idea.
Yes, it
This is
is.
a totally terrible idea.
You should do it.
Would she share? Oh no. Would you share this idea with the group?
Of course, we see these lookouts on the top of the building, on the top of the warehouse, at us peering from around the corner, and she gets this gleam in her eye. We should sneak up on them.
Aye, what?
Can see how good they are.
Or, hear me out, they might not appreciate that. Getting spooked in their own base and all.
Nera stares
Maybe
at Saoirse.
she's gonna like glance around at like Cade or Brother Nick, like hoping someone or like Victor even. It's like one of the tactically minded people in the group. Maybe they'll be able to explain to her why this is a terrible idea.
Yeah, Victor raises an eyebrow at Nero. This seems like a bad way to make friends.
But a good way to show them how useful we are.
How about instead, hear me out, we offer them a Twinkie.
No.
Isn't that how you'd want to be made friends with?
Yes, if they're giving me the Twinkie.
Fair point. Anyway, let's just walk up. Let's just walk up and introduce ourselves. Sorry. Cat got my tongue. Let's just walk up and introduce ourselves and not worry about sneaking up on them until maybe later you could offer, as friends do, to do that.
Then they'll know I'm coming.
Well, surprise audits are never appreciated. I'm just going to let you know. And I don't think they'd like you sneaking up on them right now, so let's just not do that, okay?
Okay.
Saoirse's like visibly sweating on her brow, like trying to think of like not getting shot with Nero trying to sneak up on the lookouts. Okay. She's gonna turn to Brother Nick and Cade. That being said, how would you blokes like to go about introducing ourselves?
How about we walk up and say hi?
Fair enough. Any problem with that? Anybody have a problem with that? Nero, I'm not looking at you.
She looks at everyone, mouth slightly agape, as she usually does, and she rolls her eyes.
So Eric had given us a spot to meet. Did he say anything about who to expect or any introductory messages?
He did tell you to expect. You didn't need to provide any special codes or anything. You would need to expect to be checked out telepathically.
Oh, lovely.
I think Nero missed that part.
Seems likely. That was about the part where she was tuned way out.
Yeah. It sounded like they wanted to make the contact, so yeah. Brother Nick would chime in with that. Seemed like they were wanting to make the first move, just to have us in the area. Let's get to the meeting point Eric had given us and wait for them there.
Alrighty, so the group of you saunters along, looking as inconspicuous or suspicious as possible.
Which is it then?
Inconsistent.
Robert, you there?
Sorry, inconspicuous and non-suspicious or whatever.
Okay.
There was
I mean,
I was
there
like,
is
said
are we
both
always
trying to
words
stand out
combined.
or not?
I can't hear the
there's always
punctuation.
inconspicuous.
Inconspicuous.
You say there was you could hear the punctuation I was trying to use to convey that. So my apologies. I'm not sure that's actually how that works anyway. Unremarkable, unnoticeable, unobtrusive, unremarkable.
Thank you.
So on and so forth. Conspicuous. Yes. That is the
Exactly
opposite
Kronk
of what you were
style.
Opposite. Got it. Ben, is that our son or is that a cat?
It is our son.
Dadgummit.
He's just on our bed, making noise.
Okay. All right. Well, whatever floats his goat. All right.
True. So you all make your way along other side of the street, looking like you're going your own way. And Saoirse, you feel a telepathic contact being initiated from one of the two watchmen on top of the building.
Ugh. All right. She will accept the call.
All right. And the person gets straight to the point. You the ones looking for Boris?
For sure.
All right. Keep cool. Almost to the end of the block. Hang a right between the two buildings there. Find a door cracked. That'll be your way in.
All right. Sounds good enough. Thanks. Is there any kind of way we should introduce ourselves, or is the door just going to be open?
It's open. Eric vouched for you. You've made your introductions.
All right. Not one for too many words. Got it. See you then.
Yeah, see you soon.
But bye, I guess. She doesn't know how to end the telepathic Skype call. She's just like, whatever you people say when you get off one of these.
Oh, it's all right. I was going to maintain contact until.
Oh, so you're just gonna kind of be like a bird on my shoulder then. All right.
Well, I wasn't going to keep yammering at you the whole time, but.
She's trying very hard not to think about bird murder right now. After she said a bird on my shoulder, the image almost came to mind and didn't, and then she was like, "Nope."
Oh no.
Okay.
That would have been fun.
She.
Yeah. What is her emotional state right now? By the way.
Emotional state right now is a little put out / nervous.
Okay.
But not upset. So just a little.
Mm-hmm. So
just the nerves.
As you continue walking, he says, I mean, I could keep up conversation until you get inside, but you should probably let your know what
she's gonna out loud be like to the group. She's just gonna say, "All right, you blokes, I have information on where we need to go, so just follow me."
What? How?
She's just gonna look at Nero and just wiggle her fingers and mouth magic.
Nara gives her the look of disbelieving belief. That's what I'm going with. That's the description I'm going with.
Disbelieving belief.
No, disbelieving belief.
Disbelieving. Okay.
That's definitely
Got it.
happening.
All right. Listen, I'm not trying to take you for the crick. I just don't want to explain it all when it's still in my head. Can we just get moving, please?
Yeah. Okay.
She gets the image of a man just like slowly shaking his head.
In her head, she's
In
gonna
her
go.
head, yes.
Yeah, in her head, she's gonna tell him. I try to keep things as simple as possible when it comes to explanations for Nero. Tends to help.
You get a sense of amusement, and he says, "Magic. Hadn't heard that in a while."
Oh, sorry. Sounds like something you have to talk to a trusted loved one about, and not me. So anyway, so she's feeling increasingly uncomfortable with this guy who's really chatty telepath. She's gonna go down the street following his directions. At some point, she does want to ask Nero if they're being followed. Like if Nero can make sure to keep an eye out, Nero and Victor.
Yeah. Nero will certainly be. I mean, she is. She's been, aside from the momentary distractions of magic and Saoirse suddenly knowing where to go, Nero has had her head on a swivel.
Okay. All right. Cool. So then I guess it comes down to asking the GM: has anyone been following that Nero has noticed?
Nero has not noticed anyone following you.
Typical GM. Not that you noticed. Okay, so then we're gonna turn the corner when we get there and go down to the door. On the way there, she's going to think back to the telepath. Sorry for snapping at you like that. I don't do so well with the chattiness. Small talk, if you will.
I'm gonna laugh if he just doesn't say anything again.
he does kind of say, "Oh, that's all right."
I just not so good at saying what I ought to with strangers. That is.
It's all right. I'm used to it.
Oof, that's unfortunate. So anyway, this door. She's just like, great.
So you turn the corner, and in kind of the mouth of the alleyway, there's an old woman standing there, and she kind of perks up, gives you a very discerning look, and then motions over with her hand. She's kind of hunched over a bit. Whoever's in the front is who should be motioning toward.
All right, and Sears just thinking telepathically. Oi, who's the old dear? Didn't mention your grandmother be out front.
Don't mind her. Just take whatever she gives you. She's.
I think Saoirse's
Word
out
has
in front.
apparently been getting out, at least among some people, and they've been determined to help us out. They think we aren't eating well enough or something, so.
Aye, so you've got a small force of grandmothers descended upon you.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
She can sense distinct displeasure at that.
From the telepath.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
He doesn't like a bunch of grandmas getting involved, I guess. Why, there's no reason to be mortified. Sometimes we need taking care of.
It's just doesn't do much for confidence in our secrets and our hiding places. But hey,
Oh, that's fair.
you only live once.
She's getting increasingly worried about the mental state of this telepath. Sounds really depressed. She's gonna just kind of like nervously laugh in her head, which makes her even more uncomfortable. She's gonna walk up to the old woman.
The woman hands over like a fairly hefty fabric bag. She takes off her shoulder and she says, "You all be careful now, dearie.
Oh, of course, ma'am. Thank you.
You give 'em what for?" She does like a little fist pump, punches her fist out.
Saoirse thinks this is adorable.
And she pats you on the arm and then slowly walks off.
Nera's got an open-mouthed smile. That was so
adorable.
cute.
I know. The wee grandma in the resistance. I love it.
She's so small.
I know. Bit like a chiseler, but still big enough. You know she's not. All right. And then in her head, she's gonna think, so what was this? Were we picking up groceries for you or what?
I'll say, yeah.
Not to be acting the maggot, but are you sending us on errands?
No, just that door ahead is going to be the place. Just shut it behind you.
Oh, gotcha. All right, thanks. So she'll motion to the rest of them.
All right, so you all file into the warehouse. You shut the door behind you. It kind of booms with an echoey sound.
Kind
'Cause
of
the
fills
place
up
is,
an empty building.
yeah, basically empty. Look around and you can see there are a handful of boxes and crates over on shelves in one area, but clear signs of stuff having been cleared out. And looks like the place hasn't been used in much longer than a few weeks. And
Saoirse's looking around. She's expecting someone to come out or something. But the longer someone does not, the more nervous she's going to be getting.
it's only a few moments before you hear footsteps on like metal stairs. That sounds like it's coming from the far end, and you hear in your head, the guy says, "Yeah, come on ahead. The stairs at the far end will be our way down."
All right.
This is me coming down the stairs. But this is just all in your head.
Okay. Oh, so you made it down already. Is this the warehouse we saw you peeping off from the top of?
Yes.
I love his pauses, like, duh. Just like,
Yeah, that's
yeah.
exactly what it sounded like in your head. Because he's you get a just you get an image of somebody looking at a map with a really confounded look on their face, but it just briefly pops in and then goes away.
Basically, like, how could you get lost or what?
Yeah, yeah.
Gotcha. All right, so she tells the group, All right, they'll be down in a kit.
Nero is being very alert.
So, over in the far end of the warehouse, a light turns on. Looks like it's coming up from below the staircase. Apparently goes down to a basement at that far end, and it looks like a light down below got turned on. So if you cross the warehouse, you can follow down the stairs.
Do we see him?
I think we see
You
just the
don't.
light.
Just the light now. Seems like he went down there and turned the light on from below. You missed him in the dark.
Saoirse's gonna be thinking in her head to the telepath. Do you always make it a habit to hide from your new friends like this?
There's a pause. Oh, sorry. And you hear some clanging on the stairs again, and pokes his head out at the top, up the staircase, out of the from below, I guess. And he waves a hand, and he says in kind of a hushed voice that echoes across the building, "Hi, I'm right here. You can come on down."
Oh man.
If Saoirse isn't already walking that way, Nero nudges her and motions towards the voice and the light.
All right. Saoirse will go ahead and start walking that way and just assumes everyone else is going to follow her. Now that he has made himself known. Oh yeah. Apologies if this isn't part of normal telepath pleasantries, but what exactly was your name again?
Reese.
Reese. All right. I'm Saoirse. Nice to meet you. Even if it is in odd circumstances.
Yeah, it's all right.
Just felt like I ought to know who I've been yamming into in my head.
Sorry, not well, been a little while since I've had to have manners.
You'd fit in right well with our group. No worries. All right, so.
Is this gonna work? Oh yeah. Can I send that?
Nice.
So you're enjoying the art flow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I have been. So.
Yeah.
Wait, what's that?
Nothing.
I was just kidding. Sorry.
Okay.
And so earlier, for anyone listening, I had put in our personal chat that Saoirse would be like under her breath with her fingers crossed, like, "Come on, ruggedly handsome, ruggedly handsome, ruggedly handsome." And then I was like, "Just kidding, ignore this because that's not, canon." And then Ben shared AI generated portrait of Reese, and he's definitely what someone would call ruggedly handsome. So I just put Saoirse score. So. Oh man. All right, onward.
Yeah, so he's probably got slightly darker circles under his eyes than the picture has, but So he leads the group of you down to a door that's that he unlocks and gestures in. And he says again in that hushed voice,
I can't hear you, Chloe.
oh, sorry, we got a minor interruption.
Night.
He says again in that hushed voice, sorry, we don't have much in the way of accommodations, but you can meet and talk here. This is one of our meeting places. And inside it looks like kind of like might have been a break room before.
Oh, if we'd known, we could have brought you something from where we were hiding out. Well, maybe not too much from where we were hiding out. She looks over at Brother Nick, remembering him throwing up.
Yeah. This room has been cleaned up a little bit, and there are actually some weapons laying about on a couple of tables and a couple crates. One of them's open and has it looks like the RPG rockets in foam stuck in it. It looks like they've got a little bit of a stash of weapons and ammo here. And he gestures at some chairs. Need anything to eat?
Yes.
Saoirse snorts.
Yeah.
We always need something to eat.
I'm always hungry.
He gestures at the bag that Saoirse's holding. You might as well break that out.
Saoirse will take it over to the table.
He'll be here in a few, but we don't need to wait on him.
Well, we didn't come here to eat up your stores of food. Though I will say it's been a while since I had anything cooked by a grandmother.
Yeah, he just waves a hand. Don't worry about it. We get along fine. His face does not quite match the words he just said, though.
Yeah.
Anyone listening in the background, there is a poll running to make a vote.
Oh.
It is also one of the benefits of streaming.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. I'll just put it in chat. Oh man, it is also a poll there for our players, so it's in Roll20. So.
Yeah, I guess I've never seen one of those. It's up at the top of the chat window. It's cool.
Yeah.
2 votes, absolutely. Rugged, handsome, and telepathic. Oh my word.
I tried to copy your question as it was written, but there's a fairly strict, like worse than Twitter character limit.
I got you. Wish I could see who voted. That's alright. Go for it. Alright. Alright, so Saoirse is going to be obviously +1. It's her turn. Saoirse is going to be able to see that this guy obviously isn't eating well or sleeping well or whatever. Who's really going to vote against that? I don't know. People might be grossed out at flirting. They might be like, gross. I don't want to listen to you flirt with your husband. That's weird.
What?
So anyway, all right. So she's realizing he's not eating a lot. So even though Nero has said she's hungry, she's gonna like give smaller amounts of food to Nero and Nick and Kate and herself, and then pass the bag over to Reese.
Yeah, and Nara would have picked up, especially on the undertone there, having experienced similar in the past. And she was in an agrarian society. This is not the case here. So.
Mm.
I don't know how much she would put all that together, but she would at least pick up on the feel of desperation and the kind of stretching supplies thin.
I think it'll hit her later.
Okay. So, he sits down, and while you're all divvying out the wonderfully smelling homemade food, he'll ask the group, so, Boris, I guess you may have figured out by now that he's not here, but I did see him recently, and I saw that he was well.
How recently?
He pulls out a compad and checks. Suppose it would have been 5 days. Their last call before they were out of range. He and Caldwell are on the run. We were left behind to try to slow down the Tabukans. They haven't made this very public, but they've been pushing pretty hard to try to get Caldwell. He's the last of the generals that didn't surrender. And
if we need to get a data disk to him, is that possible?
He seems very intrigued at the mention of a data disk and says, yes, but you'll have to find him. They've basically gone underground. They're in the lowlands. He hesitates before saying this next part. There's something that he was trying to hide. They didn't fill me in on everything, but it seemed like he was waiting for something. Could that be you?
Probably.
He kind of sags
Very
back
likely.
in his seat, looking relieved. Oh, good. I'm sure you figured out that we're not going to last much longer here.
Mm-hmm.
We were just supposed to slow them down, and it hasn't been going well. We're only fortunate they've shown some restraint. Otherwise, I think they could have crushed us the first couple of days. I think somebody up top doesn't want to make the streets a bloodbath, trying to limit collateral damage.
Well, I think it was more along the lines of they had something else in mind.
Yeah,
They were planning something a lot worse.
yeah, I don't think he starts to respond to that, and then he stops. Wait, what do you mean?
Are they still telepathically linked at this point, by the way?
No, he would have dropped that once you were all in the room.
Okay, because I was gonna say she's definitely gonna have images of the aliens popping up into her head when he says, "What do you mean?"
Huh.
Well, And she's gonna look over at like Brother Nick and Cade, like, what should I say?
What? Not Nero?
Oh dear. She loves
Nero,
Nero. She really does. She
for all
just
your conversational advice.
we found not just evidence, but the whole thing. They'd been planning on dropping some pretty terrible bioweapons on Eurola. We were able to redirect it, but only just.
He goes wide-eyed at that. Bioweapons, wow. So much for no collateral damage.
Whatever you've heard about the Tabukans being proud of their art of war, right now there are people in charge who are more concerned about victory than they are about any kind of honor in their victory. We're not sure if that Tabukan king is aware of it or not, but the military surely is.
Oh, well. Maybe now we can... Well, I don't know. I assume you have transportation to get out of here?
Why would we get out of here?
Well, to go find Caldwell. And Boris, that's what you're here for, right?
She's gonna like try and not stare. She's gonna be like, yeah, that is definitely what we're here for. So really, when it comes to transportation, we're more of like a legging it situation. So if you have any faster way of riding us over there, that'd be great.
He looks crestfallen. Not exactly. They took all the transports. We were just supposed to hold out as long as we could and then either try to blend in, go to ground, or, die trying.
Well,
Could take one.
Saoirse looks at Nero a little confused.
You may take one of the tanks, Nero.
Yes, but that would probably not be a good idea.
I didn't think it was, so I was curious what you meant.
They have other cars, right?
They do have those APCs.
I don't mean the Tabukan things. If
the
Uralans all had cars and now they don't, they have to be somewhere.
Well, they don't all have cars, but there are some cars around. Getting someone to part with it be another matter.
Didn't you say the Tabukans took all of the transports?
No. The Resistance, Caldwell, they took the transportation that we had.
Oh, that makes a lot more sense.
The sort of thing that you would actually be able to drive out into the wilderness, be able to take down a mountainside without, well, destroying it.
Well, sounds like you've got a lot of support in the community. Why don't we see if we can get someone to haul us out there at least close enough that we can leg it?
Well, good luck finding someone with an off-road vehicle.
So it's entirely off-road?
Oh, yeah.
She's gonna look over at her team. I mean, do you want to risk it with the ship?
It would make finding them faster, right?
Nero looks at
Are there?
tall, rugged, and telepathic to see his reaction to the mention of a ship.
He's definitely paying attention. You get the idea he suspected you had something like that, but weren't planning on using it.
Further, Nick would stroke his beard and thought, say, the last time we were here, we met some people who enjoyed racing in the lowlands. Do you know if there are any racers left around here?
Oh, yeah, that wasn't such a popular sport here. I suppose it's possible, but
Please, just maybe try. Could we ask around? Maybe use a fancy radio?
he looks and does a count again. You're gonna need it. Well, at least two. You have two pilots.
Saoirse's gonna look at Nero.
You don't exactly race passenger planes.
Well, we've got the beginnings of one.
I can only fly one of them, though.
Aye, I'm aware of that. Thank you. Okay.
Ask Reese how he is with pilot.
True. Yeah. How are you with piloting? Or are you just really good at chatting?
No, I wouldn't be any use behind the steering column of a plane. Yeah, no use at all there.
Might have to go grab our pilot if it comes down to it.
Yeah. But then we take
Wait.
him off the plane. I mean, then we
How
take
is
him off the
Victor?
ship.
Yeah.
You said
Does
how's
Victor have
Victor?
any piloting skills?
Yeah, if you asked him, he would say, he would kind of give a, like, yes, I can fly a plane, but I don't know about this strange, strange air is very thick, not much visibility. But I could do it.
So it's probably coming down to I guess the ideal options would be try to find one of these off-road vehicles, which probably means stealing from the military,
Mm-hmm.
or taking our ship down there.
Which we probably don't want to do.
Yeah, it's just a little risky. And then I guess a different risky option of cruising these racers.
Now you
If
do
we can
recall.
find some.
I'll just give you this reminder just to make sure. You do recall that the atmospheric conditions in the lower elevations do tend to wreak havoc on sensor scans.
So flying the ship is even harder. Is that what you're saying?
Well, it would definitely be a bit trickier than usual, but I meant as far as being inconspicuous.
Oh,
You'd
okay.
be,
So the exact opposite of what I was thinking. It actually might be feasible for us to take the ship because it'll be harder to detect us.
yeah.
Okay.
You're definitely not wrong that the piloting the ship would also be trickier than usual.
Okay.
Because the sorts of things that pilots typically rely on would be severely impeded.
Mm-hmm.
But as long as you don't try anything very fancy, then it should be doable.
How long are you gonna last here?
He shrugs. At this point, as long as they'll let us.
How many of you are there?
12, no, 10.
Rounds.
Yeah, most of them went with Caldwell. He just left behind enough to hop around and make it look like there are more than there are.
Die in a war you can't win.
Yeah, he never said as much, but I'm thinking he was only hoping to stall. Maybe work out some better terms. I'm hoping that whatever you've got in store is going to make a big difference. Maybe that's what he was waiting for. We can be done. We won't win this.
Saoirse's gonna ask him if he had considered going to meet up with Caldwell.
He takes a solid minute or two to think that over.
While he's thinking that over, Nero's not that patient. She is turning away. She's also a bit distraught. She is turning away and looking around, and she's going to kind of wander around. As she passes Saoirse, she leans in and whispers, "Give him my Twinkie."
Oh, that is really precious. Thank you, 5-year-old Nero. Oh man. Saoirse kind of smiles a little bit. It's sort of a sad smile.
And then from there, Nero will kind of, mope and meander around.
So has he thought long enough?
Yeah. His response is, I've considered it, but those weren't my orders, and I'd be abandoning my post, or what's left of it.
How many telepaths or psionics are there here?
Well, I'm the only one in the resistance.
Saoirse's gonna blink for a second. That's a huge piece of news for her. You're the only telepath in the entire resistance.
No, just here. But
Oh goodness.
there are several in the city. I don't know if they've been taken into custody by the Tabukans or not. They would have been at or around the temple.
Well, don't you think that you're more used to the resistance alive than holed up here?
Well, right now my use to the resistance is keeping the Tabukans occupied here in Arson and not letting them continue on to try to track down Caldwell.
Hmm. Well, is there anything we could do to help you with that before we're on our way?
Well, Those tanks are probably our biggest problem, but I don't know what we could do about so many of them. Not enough to make a difference.
Hmm.
He gestures over at one of the crates of ammunition. We've got plenty of rockets, but only so many launchers. And as soon as we expose ourselves enough to make a strike like that, well, they're not going to let us get away with that.
Hmm. Saoirse's gonna look over at Brother Nick and Cade, ask them. She eyeballs Nero, kind of moping around the outside of the room. She just says, "Well, what do you think we ought to do? Interested to hear your thoughts."
I have been wondering what they will do with the information we acquired. Perhaps broadcasting the plan to the fleet would cause mutiny within the ranks of the Tabukans, but without knowing what Caldwell and Boris were planning, I don't know what they were intending to use it for.
Sounds like the most help we can be is just legging it over there as fast as we can. The sooner we meet up with Boris, the sooner he can help the Erlands.
Yeah, I would obviously love for all those tanks to be out of commission, but I just don't know what even adding half again our number is going to do to help with that.
It might be a good thing that Nero's kind of out of earshot right now.
Saoirse keeps nervously kind of glancing over at Nero, wondering when she's gonna pipe up and be like, "We could take care of the tanks. We got this."
That's what worries me.
All right. Well, Saoirse was thinking about flirting with this guy, but it is incredibly depressing talking with the situation that's happening, and she does not feel like to flirt with him would be appropriate right now.
That seems fair.
Yeah. I'm just gonna say she picks up on some social cues that he is not really in a headspace to flirt right now.
Flirting is not required.
Okay, so what are out of character? What are our options here for traveling, for finding some kind of way to get where we need to go?
I think we've got our three. We can try to look around for the racers. Try and hijack an off-road vehicle.
From the military, right?
Yeah, I'm guessing they'd be the only ones who have them. We could try, I guess, looking around and seeing if there's any civilian sources. Or friendly sources of that, but I'm thinking odds are low.
Yeah, he did not seem confident that there would be
Any
anything you
civilian?
could get.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Saoirse's kind of most tempted by sticking it to the military, but that's also the most dangerous option. So she would want to talk that over with her crew separately.
It would be nice to help these guys. My wild care idea was they have the rockets, and I was thinking of like in World War II, they'd bust the big artillery pieces by shoving the mortars back in the artillery the wrong way
Oh man.
and have them blow up. So if we had an opportunity where we could catch a bunch of tanks like parked,
We do. That's where the majority of them are, isn't it?
Yeah, in the camp.
Yeah. Like I think Ben said that they only have like 8 on patrol at a time.
okay, so getting in sneaky, and then you could maybe do a wire up several of them. Since RPG area, replace the timer with just a direct electrode or something. Probably doesn't destroy the vehicles, but it ruins their barrels. So that takes the mission.
I'm liking this idea.
And then maybe
Yeah.
that's enough crazy to let us grab an ATV and book it.
We might need 2 ATVs with the number of people we have in our group.
Probably not. ATVs are really like they're actually big.
Okay.
They're 8-seaters and stars.
Engines of Babylon's one. Yeah, those are massive.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and the troop carrier vehicles are essentially tricked out ATVs from the book.
What was their capacity? Yes.
Definitely enough to carry the whole group of you, twice your number, really.
Okay, got it.
What kind of
Alright.
sabotage options do we have, Ben? Like, obviously there's the idea of sabotaging the grav tank in such a way that the barrel explodes when it fires, just basically take it out of commission. Do you have any other options for things that we could do with some of the demo charges that we have?
Yeah, I was gonna say, obviously you could strap a demo charge on the underside of one of those, and you'd probably need 2 per grav tank to really, do them in. You'd do some pretty serious damage with just one apiece.
Would they be boosted by those RPGs if we like daisy chained them or had that sitting there as a secondary?
Yeah, if you wanted to strap like a demo charge plus a RPG rocket.
I love playing with Ethan so freaking much.
Trying to remember how many demo charges we had. It's definitely not enough to take out you said there's 24 tanks?
Well, how close together were they parked, Ben?
Oh yeah, if they're close then maybe they mess up each other.
Demo charges have a 40-meter radius.
Oh no. I just thought they'd probably park near the motor pool, wouldn't they?
Mm-hmm.
Ben, what is their gas situation? Is it like the modern gas ones where it's a big old
Oh
waterbed?
my gosh.
Is it the big old waterbeds, Ben?
Like the big old water beds.
Oh, have you not ever seen those that to pump gas in like a set up army like field base? It's just like a big old
Oh,
waterbed, and they fill
Oh,
them
like
up with the gasoline. It's nothing super sturdy. If you slap a couple demo charges on that thing, you're
Oh
getting
my
a
word.
rolling wave of fire. Let's
Oh
go.
my goodness gracious.
yeah, if only they were primarily using gasoline for their fuel source.
Yeah, I
Ugh.
think
Oh,
grav techs are
Raph,
probably
it's the
energy
future.
Listen,
batteries.
don't kill the dream, Ben. Okay.
Stupid
um,
future with your
Stupid
phasing
future.
out of fossil fuels.
How dare you? How dare you, future?
they were like, hey, maybe having a big old bunch of super flammable liquid rolling around on my military vehicle is not a great idea.
Nah.
Big Tank's relevant again.
That's giving the military way too much credit.
Yeah, it is. So I was thinking that if we rigged up a couple of cheap primitive drones, it would let us do flanking suicide drone attacks on a different part of the base and let us like take out say a tank that was on sentry duty
Okay.
Because if it's not parked in the motor pool, we could use it as a distraction. It has a 500-meter range, and they're like 250 plus 250 for the suicide charge apiece. So if we could get that, that would be 2 of our demo charges that we could just remotely get in there. Obviously, there'd be a chance to see it, but it relies less on stealth and it would let us be in 2 places at once.
What if we're thinking of stealing a grav tank and sabotaging the rest? What if we leave your drones as basically take out the tank that's going to try and follow us?
Yeah, that was my initial thought.
Okay.
I think we're
So
taking
we
that
could do that.
APC.
Question. So now we've
Yeah, let's
gone
do the
from
APC.
stealing an ATV to stealing a tank.
No. An APC is not a tank, but it does have some pretty
No,
nice guns, I bet.
I did say tank. I don't know if that was wishful
No.
thinking or if I meant to escalate.
You were just really in character.
Why
like
would
when
we steal one of those trucks when we could steal a tank?
Guys, you're thinking
What kind of
too
nonsense is
soft.
that?
Yeah. Okay, so my thing is though, Saoirse is also going to be wondering if this is causing more trouble for the rebels because he said, if we did something like, attack them with rockets, I don't know how much longer they would allow us to, hang out here essentially. So by actually by trying to take out the tanks, are we actually causing the Tabukans to come down harder
Mhm.
on this rebel force?
We could ask.
Yeah, I guess so. Have we just been like speaking in hushed tones this entire time? Like,
I think
This is
so
pardon us
far
for
we've
one
been
moment.
out of character.
Little side huddle. Yeah.
Because I think right now we're just trying to figure out if we even want our characters to do this. Because once we take it in character and Nara realizes that there's something of interest being discussed, she'll come over and she'll make her opinion known.
Gotcha. Okay.
Probably in a 30-second story that involves ninjas coming down from the trees.
Oh my word. Okay. So anyway,
Yeah. So, yeah, the impression you got from just what you've discussed with him so far is that Reese thinks if you execute some sort of all-out attack on the tanks or whatever, that is going to incite a pretty powerful response.
Okay.
so we need something to distract them, but not something to greatly enrage them.
And something that does not literally lead them to where we're trying to go.
Yeah, that's the other thing I'm concerned about is if it's a military vehicle, will they be able to track where it goes? Like, will they have any kind of like chip on it? Or
Be able to deal with that.
okay.
Okay.
Ooh. GM,
Mm-hmm.
did we recover any Sons of Glory radio protocols with the dump that we were able to extract from the base before we blew it up?
That's a good question. Give me a program into check. This could be considered a hack check. Okay. That's a success. He did find some stuff like that, but he was able to look at it closely enough to recognize that what you have would actually be outdated by now and would throw up some serious red flags if you were to use it.
That's a shame. I was thinking we could use it as a distraction, but the hard part would be the broadcast location would be easy to triangulate, and using that as sort of a come hither while we were over at the motor pool would be difficult.
Well, I do like the idea of sabotaging them subtly. If we can do it in a way that doesn't get us caught.
Or provoke retaliation.
Or provoke retaliation. LOL. Um,
That's the 4chan way of doing it, is retaliation.
Okay, so I like that idea. Saoirse's also gonna throw out there that she does have biopsionics and she can metamorph. So if we needed to try and maybe draw someone's attention away, I could pose as another officer. I could, I don't know, lure them out somehow. So
Yeah, and regarding the kind of subtle sabotage idea, you do recall from your reconnaissance that the motor pool where the tanks and the APCs are being parked, they are more or less out in the open, kind of in the center of the camp. They're in the street, the main highway that passes through the middle of the camp. So doing anything to the to the parked tanks is going to require some pretty significant planning and sneaking, because you'd be in full view of a whole lot of people potentially.
I think we could do it. Maybe just wait for nightfall. I mean, they're out in the boonies, right?
No, they're in the city.
No. What I'm saying is, like, this city is not of big concern to the Tabukans. Like, there's this tiny force here. They've not been, taking things quickly as quickly as they could. So I think it's pretty safe to assume that they're not going to be on like super high alert.
From what you've seen, they keep a pretty good watch on their camp's perimeter. There definitely seems to be some inconsistency in how they're executing this campaign. Some of the hurry up and wait kind of things, and from what you, the party, have found out behind the scenes, there are some conflicting interests guiding this whole operation. And this is definitely not the case.
This sounds like a more of a delicate situation that doesn't need us drawing attention to this.
Yeah, I'm starting to get the same. Maybe we should just leave
as
them
much as
alone.
we would love to be arson monkeys and just run in there and blast it all.
Arson monkeys.
Just have a similar experience to when we were breaking out of the military base and just, go to town on them. I think that all of our characters would be realizing just the delicate situation that these rebels are in and that this town is in.
Ooh, this is giving me, a separate, similar-ish idea. Okay, so we're approaching them kind of as radicals. So your common de-radicalization thing is take out.
Thanks, Cade. You guys are quoting me left and right tonight.
Well, you should stop being so quotable.
Oh my. Sorry, Ethan, continue. I just saw the Arson Monkeys quote pop up in the quotes board. I just got distracted.
And now the actual Arson Monkey.
That's going to be painted on our ship somewhere, just so you know.
Yep.
Saoirse and Nero are gonna do arts and crafts on the ship one day, and they're gonna paint an arson monkey and give it to Brother Nick. It's canon now. It's
Nice.
happening.
I approve of this.
Make a macaroni sculpture for Brother Nick.
So, my general thought was, it does seem like there are two minds. I wonder if we can find out if that's a literal thing, if there's a more restrained person in the local command.
Well, we do know that the Sons of Glory are within the military here, and that the Sons of Glory were the ones in charge of the bioweapon stuff. So
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. If there's like somebody in charge here in Arsenault
an older
that
general maybe,
is
or someone
that
who's
is a hardliner, as opposed to whoever's keeping them, more easy does it, moderate.
Mhm.
We need to get that person compromised, or the radical one compromised, so then the moderate person takes over.
I do like that, but how much time would that take?
Well, I guess that's my first thought. See if Reese has intel,
Mhm.
and then this is scaled down my evil thought. I was gonna say we use Cade's drone and we aerosolize the opiate.
Oh my goodness.
Oh.
Oh my word.
That
What
definitely
the?
sounds
This
like
just got dark.
If Brother Nick had said that out loud, like Saoirse would have like flinched a hand up to her arm, like I am not letting you do that. Like just like she would have been taken aback by that. Like, is this the same guy who wanted me to flush this on my ship? Like what?
I was gonna say, is that out of character, or does Brother Nick suggest that?
Yeah, that's out of character.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Because that would be pretty bad in
Whiplash.
character.
Some,
Yeah,
some
whiplash.
emotional
for sure.
whiplash for Cade and Saoirse. Nero would be like,
Yeah.
"This is why I don't leave you alone ever. Why did I
Not
walk
a Brother
away
Nick
for even a
idea.
second?" Oh my word.
Mhm.
a sinister light suddenly glinted in Santa Claus's eyes
No, no,
as he contemplated the presents he would deliver to these naughty children.
no. Stop.
Oh dear.
Stop. Too much.
But then that's just a small scale. If you could find a way to make non-violent, or make a not mysterious circumstance where this radical, or where
The radical
if
guy.
some
Yeah.
possible radical commander disappears or is compromised. Oh, I did pack the edibles. I imagine that would look bad if you found this guy, drugged on the job with a less dangerous drug. He might
Oh
make
yeah.
himself
That
relieved
that
at
okay.
home.
That I think is a good option.
That's what I'm thinking. If it looked like they found him, partying on the job, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, can I look up like the roster of if there was a list of Sons of Glory agents in the military that would have been already dispatched, like if some sort of roster was in the export? Could I look that up and then we could figure out who to do that to, so that then they're facing somebody who's not so scorched earth?
Yeah, I guess cross that personnel check with whatever Reese's knowledge is. I'm guessing on the ground he knows or hopefully he'll know who the major players are on the Tabukan side.
Yeah.
Remember that right now they're being very moderate.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. So if he's saying, there is a ramping up person, we want to help that moderate person take more control. So I guess we're seeing if this is viable.
Yeah, so I think that's some of the information that would have been more deeply locked down
Mm.
inside that data. But Cade could dig it out with a successful hacking check.
Okay.
I'm gonna say that would be a
Why
Let's
don't
see.
we? Do we want to
Would
say that like after a couple minutes of like talking amongst themselves, like Cade just busts out his black slab
Oh
and says,
yeah.
"Let me check something real quick. Like, let me just give me a second."
Were you giving it a modifier there, Ben?
what I was gonna ask is if you wanted to, it'd be easier if you just had a name, like of the commander, the local commander, and you just wanted to ask a specific question. Is this guy in the roster?
Mhm.
But at the moment, you'd probably need to do like a get general information to pull,
Yeah.
a list of people of appropriate rank from the lists that you were able to
Yeah, because then
scour.
we can cross-reference it. I think ask general question is better. Or
Okay.
sorry,
You
the one you had said. I
okay?
was
So
Yeah.
maybe
scrolling.
asking
Looking for it.
Reese first.
Yeah, so let's see. This is gonna be and you'd need to prepare for it if you didn't want to have to rush it.
Yeah.
I mean, that's fine. We're in a safe environment.
Can't he just take 10 minutes for it?
Is that how that works? I couldn't remember the exact time frame.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if you were doing something special, but normally it's if you spend the hour in prep in advance, then you can later on do it as a main action. But if you
Okay, you can
didn't
just
do
take
that,
10.
then yeah, 10 minutes is the equivalent of that
Okay.
in the moment.
Yeah, that's what I'm going with. I had
Okay.
just forgotten the exact numbers there.
Yeah.
So yeah, you can take your 10, which is going to put you at that's going to put you at a DC of 13.
I think we can do that.
All right, nice.
There you go.
Nailed it.
With flying colors, Cade
Mhm.
starts. Well, he watches as the list of names gets printed out on in his little separate list here. So he's got now a set of names that he could cross-reference with whatever info you can manage to pull up on the local Tabukan force.
All right, Reese. Are any of these guys commanders in the local group here?
Yeah, he had seemed curious, a little curious, but he was not trying to poke his nose into whatever you were doing. When you
Oh,
show him a
Cade will
list of
angle the
names.
slab.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Um,
Here. Are these guys in the command line of command here?
we don't know. We really have no intel on the Tabukan force specifically, or what goes on inside their camp. We've been doing well just to not all get killed.
Okay, we are. It's time to pivot. Okay, so we're thinking it's about a character workshop. So we need to get them to intel. So I'm thinking we tell Reese it's time to stop with direct hit and run attacks. And they need to go on an org structure or figuring out the enemy campaign. And my first thought is we flip the grandmas.
Now,
If they
Ethan, I'm
know
gonna
that
interrupt you here for a second and ask:
Hmm?
Is this something that Brother Nick is wanting them to do with us gone, or us to spend time here doing?
I'm thinking spend some time. I feel like it's worth helping these guys since they're also giving us time to go pick up Caldwell, Boris in the long run. It doesn't sound like they can pull up tent stakes, and he is kind of right. Every day they hold these guys in Arsenault. That buys us more time to keep the rebellion alive.
I'm feeling a greater sense of urgency. I don't know if it's just. I don't know if that's just my bias.
Yeah, I feel like the first priority needs to be getting to Boris.
Victor would agree with that. Yeah, if that came up.
Yeah, I don't think so yet. That was just me trying to fish for where is Brother Nick thinking here.
Oh yeah, I got you.
Okay, yes, that could just be long-term encouragement for them. Then I guess hope this plan bears fruit. Tell
Did you
them
say
move
Brother
to
Nick was, but he was bringing that up to Eric. I mean to Reese here.
yeah, to tell them to move to intel gathering.
Okay.
He'll lay out his this plan for them of using local goodwill and assets to try and understand the Tabukan forces, figure out an end, figure out their
Mhm.
structure, and sharing his idea of figure out ways to get
I do feel
hardliners and radical, the people that
yeah.
are more likely to do violent action out of the picture.
Mm. So yeah, as you start outlining this for Reese, um, he gets kind of a glazed look in his eyes, sort of. Um,
This poor man. He just needs food and sleep. Okay. You're just throwing all this at him.
and he says, that does sound like that would be very helpful, but I just don't know. That's not my expertise. I'm a priest and a soldier, but I am not a. He kind of waves his hands.
Sierra's just gonna try not to look
Spy.
crestfallen when she hears he's a priest. Telling herself she doesn't actually know anything about any restraints put on Yaralum priests.
That is true. She knows nothing of that.
But where she comes from, that means a certain thing that would
Mhm.
affect her. So anyway.
But yeah, he would sort of trail off, and if met by silence, he would finish by saying, that sounds wonderful, but I just don't think that's something I could take on." But hey, let me try to figure out how we can get you transportation down to the lowlands. Sounds like you don't want to risk your ship with that. I'm sure we can find something. Maybe we could steal one of the Tubucan patrol transports. He seems to be kind of grasping at straws here. Those patrols are well armed, but I don't think it's entirely implausible that we could take them.
15 minute. Yes. Nero's interest has been caught.
he picks up on that. You think that's something that you could do?
Yes.
It's definitely within her resume. And ours, really.
We could do it.
He's nodding. Well, so far their patrols have been pretty erratic, but could probably find some way to ambush one of them.
Now, weren't they the troop transports? Well, the APCs, um, like two to a side of a grab tank, like 4 total and 1 grab tank.
Each patrol had one tank and one personal carrier.
Oh, okay.
Both of them with, like, of course, their complement of mounted weapons.
Okay, I was confusing that memory with the column that well killed those 2 guys.
Oh,
Okay, that was different.
yeah,
That
no,
wasn't a patrol. That was a that was a hunt and kill.
yeah, that was a response team
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
scramble to force. Yeah, the patrols are definitely much smaller.
Um.
Yeah, from what you saw, it'd be a grav tank with standard complement of grav tank weaponry, including a mounted heavy machine gun that would have a. But the APC would also have a mounted heavy machine gun that would actually have a person up in the turret. The grav tank, everything is like operated internally.
Yeah, that's the problem with trying to take any of these vehicles from patrol is they have no reason to get out of them.
Yeah.
We would have to engineer something, and anything that we could possibly engineer is
Could
also something
backfire.
that they would call in, and say, "Hey, I've got a situation here."
Yeah. That's true.
Are we really set on not taking the ship?
I'm up for taking the ship.
Yeah, I think that will probably just speed things along, even though it may not be the best option or the funnest option, it will get us there. Um, hopefully. We have a pilot there. We have an alien. We have uh,
Yep.
hostages that we still need to be drugging. Um, so we should probably get back to the ship. So we can definitely see if Reese has any contact other than the radio that's going on right now. I know that the Tabukans are probably are the Tabukans like watching all the communication channels right now or like compad type stuff?
It's not
Um
something that you've been told one or the other, but you kind of assume based on,
yeah.
yeah, that would be a safe assumption, I think.
Okay. All right.
Are
So
you're wanting to talk about basically a way to keep in touch with Reese and also potentially contact Caldwell from distance?
yeah. So she's gonna very suddenly after there's been a lull in conversation, she'll just be like, "Could I have your number?" And like wait for his reaction.
He he does kind of a double take, and he says, "My my compad number?
Aye, in case we need to get in touch with you and we're not able to use the radio.
Yeah, I guess that would work. Although have to be
Saoirse,
careful.
ham-fisted flirt.
Have to be careful what you say. It be on a public network." But he takes out his compad, slides it over with his number visible there.
Toby's absolutely right. Um, She'll say, "Oh, maybe I could code it a little bit."
But yeah,
She'll get his number on his compad. Do you have Coldwell's number as well?
he laughs. Well, not his compad number, but we do have a channel that we've been using. And he pauses, kind of looks over all of you. Now, this is the kind of information that we can't afford to get in the wrong hands, so.
Saoirse's
How-
gonna nod.
he says, I'd prefer to just tell one of you,
Tell her.
just to reduce the odds of getting in the wrong hands. And who volunteers?
Oh, Nero just said, tell her. Over Saoirse.
Okay.
Saoirse's gonna look at the rest of the team. Is that all right? If you'd prefer to have it, Brother Nick, you're the one using the radio more than me. That's a direct question to Brother Nick.
Paging Brother Nick.
Oh man.
Ethan muted?
No, I saw his mic light up. Uh-oh.
Oh, are we having
Did you
that
catch that,
Discord
Ethan?
bug?
I don't think so. Ethan, can you hear us?
Oh, yeah. Can y'all hear me?
Okay, yeah.
Now we
there
can.
you go.
Yeah.
There.
Saoirse was just asking Brother Nick if it was all right for her to be the one with the comms info, or if he wanted to do it.
Oh, yeah. So you can pass over the radio to her.
Alrighty.
Okay. So yeah, Reese will show you which channel, and he'll help you input the proper encryption code and whatnot. And I'll just say you just need to make sure that if you're about to be captured, that this doesn't survive. But hmm. When Kate interjects, he looks over and he takes a second, and then uh, he gets kind of quiet.
Saoirse's not even like paying attention to that, by the way, because she's trying to make sure she doesn't screw up the radio frequency that she's just been given.
Yeah.
So she might have
Kate-
heard what Cade says, but she definitely doesn't catch the wink.
Yeah. Cade notices
He'll catch it
that
later.
Reese looks a little embarrassed, but he soldiers on.
Kid is just being humorous anyway.
So you have a way to contact Caldwell, potentially, as
Okay.
long as you get in range. And you also have a way to contact Reese here.
All right. Okay, so we have contacts down. We need to try and leg it back to our ship then.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. He does seem a little disappointed to see you all go so quickly, but he is also clearly relieved that the long-awaited information is making its way to the general.
Yeah. Just one more thing before we go. You might want to be a little less obvious with your lookouts on top of the warehouse. Between that and the old Gran sitting outside your door, wouldn't be too hard for the Tabukans to find you.
He sort of gives it a shrug. That's fair. I think if they really wanted to come and root us out, they could do it. I think they're just wary of more traps.
Fair enough. Well, try not to get any holes in you. Oh, that reminds me. Has anybody been wounded lately? Do you need any help with that?
Nero looks.
He says, "Yeah, a couple of injuries, but we have medical supplies, so no need to worry there."
Ah, I can help you. And you get to keep your medical supplies.
You mean to say, are you a bio?
There we go, you're catching on. Not as sleep deprived as you looked.
Uh, he smiles, takes the compliment. Well, yes, in that case, he gets on his compad and sends a couple of messages. If you can wait a little while, can go ahead and have everyone who's been injured recently come by. How many can you help?
Uh, 1 second while I look at her character sheet. Ben, if you
Out
have
of,
it up already, you can you can just say
yeah,
it.
out of character, the answer would be as many as he needed.
Yeah.
All right. Then she'll just tell him as many as you need. Just get them all here at the same time.
Yeah, they're on their way quickly.
Is that from the level 10, the not level 10. What was
No,
it?
it's actually
Tissue
something you can.
integrity field.
No, it's something you got access to pretty early on. Basically, you can just do it without spending effort at all.
Okay. All right.
You're only limited by system strain of the people you're healing
Okay.
and time.
Gotcha.
Neither of which are a concern here. So, yeah, within about 30 minutes, um, 6 of the guys have shown up at the warehouse. Um, most all sporting relatively minor injuries, but uh, bandages on arms. One guy actually had seemed like a moderately severe torso wound, but he's fairly drugged up when he's brought to you. But all of them come out the other end of the room, uh, just thrilled and all smiles and stretching newly healed limbs.
Neato.
And they all make sure to give you pats on the back and shake your hand. And uh, the guy with the torso wound he goes in for a big hug.
Aww.
She's gonna very stiffly, but less stiffly than she would have before, pat him on the back while he's hugging her.
And he wipes a tear out of the corner of his eye and moves on.
All
And
right.
Reese, he looks fairly somber, but I'll just say, after you've gotten the last of the thanks from the men, just say thank you very much for taking the time for that. That's a good boost for the men. Things have been pretty gloomy around here.
I could tell. Happy to do what we can. And then Ben, did you see my question there?
Yeah, so you could
So
check.
she'll
That
go ahead.
specifically is not something she could help with, but it's possible that he could have some minor injuries that are.
Okay. So since he looks like worse for wear, she's going to assume that there's something he's not really vocalizing. So she's going to ask him basically, let me think here. What about you, Reese? Want a quick pick me up? You're looking a little worse for wear.
Guess so. I don't know if it's anything you can actually help with. I've just got I think it's just the bug. Nothing
She'll snort and roll her eyes.
grievous.
Doesn't matter what planet you're on, men are all the same. You either are whinging like your leg fell off or you're silent when you're bleeding out your eyes.
Wow. It's not been that bad.
Aye, but I'm sure you would have let it get that bad. She's gonna be like, have a joking look on her face.
Is that something you can fix?
She looks at him. The bug or bleeding out your eyes?
Oh, the bug.
Aye, that's something I can fix.
You
So
seem surprised by that. Yeah, so that'll be an effort for the day kind of thing.
Okay.
But afterward he'll perk up a bit and wow. Yeah, it's feeling better already.
I have that effect on people. And then she realizes how that sounded, and then she's like, with the biopsionic stuff. Yeah. Anyway, glad you're feeling better. We'll be in touch. Was there anything else we needed to do before we left? And she's looking at Brother Nick and Cade. And she's studiously trying to avoid Nero's eyes.
Cade shrugs.
All right, well, if that's it, then I guess we better roll on out. It's been lovely meeting you all.
Reese will bid you farewell and wish you good luck and safe travel.
All right, let's leg it out of here.
All right.
Yeah.
So you all are making the hike back to the ship?
Yep. Saoirse at some point is going to open her compad. And she had mentioned to Reese that she was going to message him in code. So she's going to message him and say, "Thank you so much for the lovely date. I'm glad I could help you feel better. Period. I'd love to learn more about the Urallan priesthood another time." And then like a bunch of little swoopy characters, and like just signed it S. That's all she's gonna do.
Swoopy.
Yeah, the little tilde
Spooky?
that girls use as swoopy. Not spoopy, just swoopy.
Okay. Oh yeah, she gets left on red for a while.
That's all right. She wasn't expecting a response right away.
So, a lot of you begin your trek back to the ship.
Mhm.
And the time passes uneventfully, other than a little ding on Saoirse's compad with a response that just says, "Thanks, I had a good time too." Period. I'd love to tell you all about it sometime.
Most awkward.
So awkward. Such awkward beans. Saoirse, when she sent that message, immediately shuddered because she has never sent a message like that. Okay. All right. I love Saoirse being an awkward flirt. Hilarious. Okay, sorry.
You know, it's kind of nice to see the comeuppance after all the awkward flirt forcing that she's done to others.
Oh yeah, for sure. It's also funny to me because, like, of course, the one person she wants to try and flirt with is like a sleep-deprived, starving rebel in like a priest in like some barricaded city, you know. Whereas like, Narrow and what's his face were like going out to dinner and like going for drinks in the museum and everything. So I feel like she's kind of flirting at a disadvantage here.
Mhm.
But anyway. So we are on our way out. We are going back to the ship. Do we make it back to the ship?
You make it back to the ship. It
Woohoo!
is fairly late, but not an unreasonable bedtime.
Okay.
And you find Tom greeting you at the ramp up onto the ship.
In Tom
And
form or in his native form? Can't remember what we left him in.
in his native form, yeah.
Okay. Saoirse
And
is surprised. She's actually excited to see that mandibled face.
yeah, and he greets you all with with an open-armed gesture, and he would initiate telepathic contact with everyone and let you all know that things have been going well. None of the prisoners have made any trouble more than usual, and he would also say that he and Ahmed have been getting to chat a bit, get to know each other
Oh,
some.
interesting. Ahmed being the pilot.
Yes.
All right. How's that been going for you?
In your heads, you hear, he was reluctant at first, but I convinced him that it was wise for us to exchange our stories and know what the others were like. It's been good for me to talk with someone who is not just Tabukan, but a Tabukan who isn't fully aligned in all their thoughts.
I don't know whether I should be insulted, Tom, or if that's a compliment.
Uh, You get a
But
sense
he
of
doesn't
chagrin from
recognize
him.
you as a spoken.
Eh,
Well, y-
maybe.
you were a special case, Kadir. This man is not so
Aww.
recently a son of glory, so wanted to know the
That's
thoughts that he
fair, I
had,
suppose.
understand what made him do what he's done, and why he's been so willing to help.
So, question, when he's talking with us as a group, can we all hear what the others are projecting as well? Or do we only hear ourselves and Tom?
No, you just hear yourselves and Tom.
Oh, gotcha. So I guess the polite thing then when he's talking to us as a group would be to respond out loud, vocally, and to
Yeah,
allow him to respond telepathically.
if you're wanting to include kind of the rest of the group fully. But yeah, he asks after the trip, the and of course the progress of the mission and all that. Uh, but he'll wait until everyone's at least on the ship before digging more into those kinds of questions.
Mm-hmm. Saoirse's gonna check on Ahmed.
Okay. She finds him hanging out in the little conference room, and
The meeting room where Tom's been living.
mm-hmm.
All right. Well, if he's hanging out there, then I guess it hasn't been too traumatic. She'll say as much when she sees him. Hello.
He'll stand up to greet her. Welcome back. No, it hasn't been that bad. It was a bit disconcerting at first. Uh, I've not really interacted much with, well, any of the Chikari, but especially not one of the hybrids. Uh, I'd only even had one training exercise, and of course, most of them are nothing like him.
Hey, that's fair. There aren't too many few that are like Tom.
He just kind of stands there, looking like he doesn't know what to do with himself exactly.
Well, glad to see you're still in one piece. Tom didn't take a chunk out of you.
Uh, uh, no.
She gives him a wink, hoping he takes that for a joke.
Yeah, he seems to get the message that it was a joke, but all the same, he seems somewhat uncomfortable with that line of joking.
Sorry, I forget. Not everyone can just regrow a limb. Anyway, just wanted to make sure there wasn't any lasting damage of leaving you two alone,
No, no,
physical or otherwise.
he's been fine.
Good stuff. Now we've got a pretty challenging job for you, but I think you might be up for it. And then
Oh,
she's going to
really?
explain to him uh, what they need to do
Ah,
and about the atmosphere and everything.
yeah. He he doesn't seem surprised. You can tell he figured that was probably going to come up at some point,
Hmm.
but
Probably thought it would come up sooner.
that's all right. I should be able to do that. I just hope we don't run across anyone else
It'd be
slip-looking around
really
in the.
embarrassing for you to be caught with us.
Well,
She's joking again, obviously.
I'm not very confident I'll be able to pull off anything too spectacular, but should be able to get us from point A to B without crashing into anything.
Think that's all we want.
So, I know I need to know basis and all, but who are we going to see? I assume we're going to see someone.
An old friend that we've been trying to get in touch with.
He looks surprised. You've already been able to find out where Boris is?
We think so.
Oh, good.
She's a little surprised that he knew about Boris because she can't remember if they told him about that or not.
I was wondering the same thing.
um, he kind of hesitates, but then he looks like he's working himself up to something. He says, "So, after this, will we be reaching out to the Tabukans and finding out what's going to be done with all of us?"
That's the hope.
He just nods and sort of steels himself. Very good then. Looking forward to being past all this. But like I've told you, I'll do whatever I can to help as long as your word is good.
We're trying to keep it as good as it can be. I know we promised that we'd try and get you and your family somewhere safe, and that is still going to be what we're going to try to do. We just don't have all the information we need right now to do it.
I understand. And I know you don't have much motivation, but if you could at all put in a good word for my crew, they're not all bad.
Are you talking about the one that spit in my face?
Well,
She's
he
got like
seems
kind of a mischievous twinkle in her eye.
he does still seem a little uncomfortable bringing up like kind of this whole topic and basically advocating for them. Yes, I mean, put yourself in his shoes. I know,
I'll definitely
I know you
think
can't.
about it.
Yeah, I know that
It's
they're.
difficult when they make it as hard as they have for themselves. At the end of the day, they have to be able to stand on what we've seen, and maybe they could be de-radicalized. I'm not sure, but
Yeah, he nods along with what she's saying. Yeah, I don't know. Some of them have. Well, they've been in for a while. I think they've bought into some of the ideas a lot more than I had. Not to say that I did never believe it, but it wasn't exactly a ride or die situation for me.
hope it never has to be.
Well, I guess I should go get ready, start prepping for takeoff.
Hmm. That'd be good.
He'll go ahead and excuse himself.
So she'll sit down in the meeting room, conference room, whatever you want to call it. Just thinking about his request to try and put in a good word for his crew, and she's just gonna pinch the bridge of her nose, thinking like, how in the world am I gonna put in a good word for people who are toting a biowhip into a planet full of innocents? She knows it was hard for him to ask, but she's not sure that he understands exactly how difficult that's going to be.
Yeah, his body language told her that he definitely had an idea that that was a bit of a stretch. He didn't seem super hopeful when he brought that up.
Hmm.
You could always go to Brother Nick and ask if he's on the list.
Oh, you're saying the list that Cade pulled?
No, the naughty or nice list.
Oh my stars. It was coming and I wasn't prepared for it. I could feel it and I just didn't prepare myself in time.
Doing your best.
Oh man.
All right, so
I,
getting
I'm
temperatures
half
up and all.
joking, but I actually do think that that would be an interesting conversation with Cade and Brother Nick.
Oh no, yeah, that would be.
Discussing what to do with a lot of them.
The
Not
Sons of
so
Glory.
much what to do with them, but like specifically the question that Saoirse was bemoaning. How do I put in a good word for these people?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, we could. I think that's definitely a good one to have next session since we're strapped for time at this point.
Sure.
Unless
Yeah,
you think that's a good way to spend the last 18 minutes.
I'd be fine with that.
All right, so then that means Cade and Nick would have to tell us how they felt about that,
Mm-hmm.
which requires a response.
I was gonna say who brings that up? Does Saoirse go and gather everybody and say, "Hey, we need to have a quick powwow"?
I guess that would make sense. Out of
Because you are
character,
on.
it would. Sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say you are on your way to meet with apparently the last general leading the resistance, who would be the
Oof.
most likely person on the Urallan side to discuss any of this with.
This is the last leg for them.
Shoot. Um.
Decisions.
Yeah. Well, Saoirse would sit there for a while longer if anyone was coming to look for her, but if everyone's catching up with Tom, uh, once everyone was on and the ramp closed up and everything, then she would basically page the crew for a meeting in the conference room.
Right? Does she include Tom or Victor?
Yeah, she would.
Okay. Victor shows up freshly showered and looking kind of like a little drowsy, just like he's kind of ready to go to bed, but
Hmm.
uh, like yes, I can sit for meeting
You're
as
allowed to
long as it's
sit. I'm not a monster.
yes, of course.
Not a complete monster, that is. Maybe a little bit of one. She looks a little thoughtful for a second, wondering exactly how much of a monster she is.
Tom clacks at discussion of who is or is not a monster, and
Does he actually like put any like mental images out there at that, or?
he he does it and kind of waits for responses, and then you all get kind of a mental image of amusement, and that he was prodding at that.
Saoirse's gonna put her hands up next to her face, sort of like mandibles, and wiggle her fingers at him. Make a silly face.
Yeah, he'll return the favor.
Oh dear.
Uh, in a much more what you would
Convincing manner.
what you assume might be a fairly menacing pose if you were actually being serious about it.
Just like,
Cade
all right,
will
keep
mentally
your shirt on.
envision. Will mentally envision a mean-looking Saoirse scaring little Chitari and them kind of crying and running away.
Wow.
Oh, for whatever reason, I just imagined that in this
Chitari
mental image
children,
of
of
his,
course.
that they're kind of like almost
She's the boogeyman.
almost chibi style, or like
Little chibi style.
Yes, exactly.
They're like little
Chibi-
chubby arms and legs, and little mandibles are just like one little
Yes.
pointer on the end.
yeah.
They're cute looking and crying and running away. And Saoirse's just so scary.
Thanks a lot,
But
Robert.
also, Kate is just amused.
Mhm.
But
Great.
so Tom definitely feels that it's a joke.
Yeah.
We're sure hoping he does. At this point.
Yeah, like these little guys.
Oh, my word.
Yeah, basically that.
Oh,
But
my word.
yeah, anywho, so
Saoirse's gonna bring it up. She's just gonna say, Ahmed has made a request that if I could figure out how to fulfill it, I'd be interested in doing it. I'm just not sure that it's feasible. I'm not sure how we should do it. And I'd like to hear what you all have to think. Specifically, Cade and Brother Nick, I feel you have some experience that could help with this. He's asked that we put in a good word for his crew. I'm not exactly sure how to go about putting a good word for a crew who was manning a ship full of bioweapons that they were going to drop on a planet full of innocent people. But from what we've spoken with Ahmed concerning the Sons of Glory, it sounds as though these people have been, I don't know how to say it other than brainwashed. It's something that, where I come from, they call it deprogramming, when you have to take someone and just completely restart their minds because it's been warped by someone else. But I don't know how to go about talking about that with the Yarlans and whether or not the Yarlans would even have the patience to put up with it. We're going to meet up with someone who has a say in what happens to them, and I wanted to talk with you all about it before we got there. So what are your thoughts? Should we do it? How can we do it?
I'm not sure how, but we should definitely try. I wonder if the king publicly condemning the Sons of Glory and their plot, what that would do, since most of them are consider themselves loyal to the king.
No. That's scrolling.
Sorry. Brother Nick have any thoughts to share with the class?
I saw him light up.
Ethan, does Brother Nick have anything to contribute to that part? I think I'll take that as a no for the moment.
Have we lost Ethan?
You all hear?
Oh,
Yeah, I
Oh,
can hear you.
there.
I think we're in the
It
process
must have
of
been cutting
losing
out
Ethan.
Ah.
That sounded like a I'm trying to act like I'm totally awake, but I just woke up.
Yeah. Ethan, are you falling asleep?
No.
Okay.
Okay. I believe you.
Okay.
Yeah.
The smattering of disbelief that I just heard after he said that was kind of funny.
Yeah.
No,
That's why I had to reiterate. I do believe you. I know it sounds like I don't believe you. Oh man.
I
so
mean, I believe you, but it's just funny.
Yeah, I'll take you at your word.
yeah, there have been some connection issues apparently. But no, did you hear what Saoirse's question was?
Yeah. I think Brother Nick would he'll say that people deserve yeah, the opportunity for second chances, but yeah, that it would take some penance on these guys' part, and he's not sure if they're even willing to change, and that it was also a crime against the Uralans, and so ultimately, they're the ones who are gonna sit in judgment on what happens to these guys.
Well, maybe something that would help is if we discuss the idea of using them as a bargaining chip. Might help to spare their lives long enough for them to change their minds.
The woman has family.
I feel she's aside from Ahmed, I feel that she's definitely shown the most even-headedness.
What's her name?
I don't remember it in
Oh,
character
I
or out of
thought
character.
that you Saoirse had actually said it, and okay, never mind.
No, just that she's shown the most potential for being dissuaded from the Sons of Glory.
Oh, Hamid, the pilot. Never mind. I thought I heard a different name, and like I was like amazed that you knew the name of the other Tubucan warrior.
Mhm. Right off the top of her head, no less.
Yeah, you almost impressed me.
Almost. Don't worry.
Another time,
Still,
maybe.
it's still just me.
Nara kind of looks over at Brother Nick. And then she looks back over at Saoirse.
Okay.
Do I have to be here for this?
Is there something more pressing you have?
Yes.
She has a
Saoirse
date
just
with the
gives her.
Twinkie.
I didn't hear what you said, Robert.
She
She
said
has a
she has
date
a
with the
date with
Twinkie.
Twinkie.
No.
Ah, really? What is it then?
Nara looks like she's just been caught. She slumps back in her chair.
Uh-huh. Yeah. So Saoirse is gonna turn to the group. Listen, does anyone have a problem with us saying anything for the crew? She's gonna look at Tom.
Tom just shakes his head.
Okay.
I don't have a problem with speaking for the crew and stating that we would like deprogramming to be attempted.
Will pipe up in everyone's heads. These ones specifically have done me no wrong. I see no reason to make them suffer more than any others.
These ones got to live. They should be thankful.
We did them a favor now.
Yes, well, that may not last long if we just give them over to Urala with no strings attached.
Nero suddenly looks much more interested in this.
All right. Well, how about then we have a talk with Boris first? Once we get there, if we can, before we hand over anyone.
It seems wise to me.
All right. No prisoners leave the ship until we talk with Boris.
I think this idea of bargaining chips, I think this was a good one.
Here's hoping it is.
Ooh.
The package makes hardly a crinkle.
Saoirse tries very studiously to ignore Nero.
She thinks she's so subtle.
Narrow
That you
shares.
rolled the for it.
Of course he did. Of course he rolled.
Yeah,
for
I
it.
know.
Narrow hears in her head, wow, that looks colorful. What are those?
Nothing. I mean,
So she said that out loud in her
yes, she
head. 'Cause
does.
I'm gonna die. That's hilarious.
All heads turn to look at Narrow.
Saoirse just pinches the bridge of her nose. Right, meeting adjourned. Get out.
Okay. Nero's first out that door, and you can hear the crinkling of the wrapper now.
Oh my stuff.
Mhm. And
Crinkle,
the last
crinkle.
thing,
Crinkle, crinkle.
as she runs out the door, she hears Tom's voice again. You can thank me later.
She actually. It's not impolite to talk with your mouth full if nobody is looking at your mouth. So, clearly, with her mouth full, she says loudly enough for those in the conference room to hear, but not so loudly that anything flies out of her mouth. Thank you.
Oh my stars. Saoirse's just like, what in the world am I having to deal with right now?
She'll just hear. That's good for a start. We can talk more later. All right.
I'm gonna go to the kitchen. So
I
she's
think
gonna
with
go
that,
make herself a cup of tea. She doesn't have the patience for this.
I think that's a good note to end on.
Mm-hmm.
So you can all take your 2 XP. and we'll start doing our faves.
Oh my word.
Any
Oh,
volunteers?
I just hit XP for level 9.
Woohoo!
Woo!
Sweet.
Finally.
Hey, Ethan.
Mm.
Just because I'm curious how far behind I am. How much XP do you have?
What did he just post?
2.
2? Okay. Then I have 102.
Oh, okay. Only 4 points behind. Cool. Oh man.
Lucky Ethan keeps up with the numbers.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's see here. Any volunteers for first?
Oh, I forgot
Not me this time.
Oh, I
Also
was about to
not
volunteer you.
also not me.
mine.
All right.
I volunteered last time.
I liked the grandma. The grandma being like, "Go get him," was like the cutest thing.
I guess I can go first.
All right, bring it on.
I think the turnabout was funny of forcing Saoirse to be the one who flirts this time, as well as the role play with Tom back on the ship and the meeting and all that. Mainly the disruptions to it. Let's put it that way.
The cat herding
was
was his
amusing.
favorite part. That's what he's saying.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty appropriate. It's definitely how Saoirse would feel about it.
Mm-hmm.
Just trying to contain the meeting long enough to get the most important stuff out. I was like, okay, it is rapidly collapsing around my ears. So quick, everybody
Yeah.
get out.
Yep.
Yeah. I would also like to point out, by the way, that I am playing this game tonight on a stomach bug and on very little sleep. So this should by no means be the yardstick by which my role-playing flirtation capabilities are measured. So just gonna put that out there and ask that you give me another chance and don't hold this against me too much.
Okay,
It did make for some very funny in-game situation, but
I'll try to throw more ruggedly handsome NPCs at you to flirt
no, my
with.
stars, jeez.
You asked for it.
No, that was not what I asked for.
Too late. Oob.
Oh wow. Oh, man.
Oh man, that just made this feisty grandma. Grandmas are for potent noobs.
Yeah, basically.
Oh, you guys know what that's from, right?
Later, Ben. We're in
Later,
favorites.
yeah.
Yeah, we're doing faves. I'll look it up while somebody else is telling about